Coca-Cola plus Pervitin. When Nazi forces launched the Blitzkrieg across Europe, extreme speed required relentless endurance. To keep soldiers pushing forward without sleep, the military relied on two distinct energy sources, Coca-Cola and Pervitin. Coca-Cola was a high-octane dark chocolate packed in iconic round tins. Infused with roasted coffee and cola nut powder, it delivered a heavy dose of natural caffeine and calories to pilots, tank crews, and infantry for a quick mental lift. Pervitin, on the other hand, was pure methamphetamine. Distributed by military doctors in the millions, these small white pills erased fatigue, suppressed hunger, and kept drivers awake for days at a time. While pop culture often mislabels Pervitin as meth chocolate, soldiers actually used both side by side, eating Coca-Cola for calories and caffeine, and popping Pervitin pills when human endurance reached its absolute limit. Eintopf. Eintopf simply means one-pot stew. Made from basic staples like potatoes, cabbage, carrots, and small scraps of meat, it was cheap, dense, and easy to stretch. At the front lines, Eintopf was the operational backbone of military catering. German field kitchens, nicknamed goulash cannons, could boil hundreds of liters of stew in a single kettle while hitched behind supply trucks. It kept calories high while using minimal fuel in chaotic combat zones. On the home front, the Nazi regime turned this humble meal into a powerful tool of political control through Eintopf Sundays. Starting in 1933, families were commanded to replace their traditional, multi-course Sunday dinner with a cheap, single-pot stew once a month during winter. Party officials went door to door collecting the money families saved, donating it to state relief funds, turning a simple lunch into a public test of total obedience. Schwarzbrot. While hot meals depended on field kitchens, Schwarzbrot, a heavy, dense sourdough rye bread, was the individual soldier's ultimate daily fallback. Unlike soft white bread, dark rye was packed with complex carbohydrates, stayed moist for weeks, and rarely crumbled in transit. Soldiers carried their daily loaf directly in a canvas bread bag, slathered with whatever fat was available: margarine, lard, liverwurst, or canned meat. When combat, mud, or enemy artillery cut off the field kitchens, Schwarzbrot was the meal. To ensure troops always had carbohydrates during long operations, the military even produced Dosenbrot, whole loaves baked, sliced, and sealed inside tin cans. It allowed bread to stay fresh for years in submarines, tanks, and isolated outposts. Schwarzbrot was far from exciting food, but it was the single most consistent fuel keeping the army on its feet. Schnapps. Strong alcohol, universally known as schnapps, occupied a double-edged position in military life. It was issued officially as a combat ration, mailed in care packages from home, traded on the black market, or looted in occupied territory. Commanders used spirits as a quick psychological tool. A shot of alcohol before an assault blunted immediate panic, while a drink after combat dulled severe physical and emotional trauma. In sub-zero winter conditions, troops drank it, believing it kept them warm. Physiologically, however, alcohol dilates blood vessels, radiating core body heat outward and rapidly accelerating hypothermia. Beyond the medical dangers, heavy drinking caused endless operational problems, leading to accidental weapon discharges, vehicle crashes, and fights with officers. While commanders tolerated controlled drinking as an essential release valve for frontline stress, extreme intoxication was punished harshly when it threatened military discipline. Ersatzkaffee. Few items illustrate wartime isolation quite like Ersatzkaffee, or substitute coffee. Germany depended heavily on imported coffee beans. When British naval blockades cut off trade, real coffee vanished from civilian shelves and became an expensive luxury reserved for elite officers and field hospitals. To fill the void, the state mass-produced synthetic alternatives using roasted chicory root, barley, rye, acorns, and sugar beet pulp. The resulting dark brew contained zero caffeine and tasted bitterly of burnt grain, bearing little resemblance to genuine coffee. Yet its true value was psychological. For a cold soldier sitting in a mud-filled trench, drinking a steaming dark beverage in the morning was a crucial mental connection to normal life. Ersatzkaffee allowed troops to keep their comforting daily routines intact, serving as a classic example of Germany's massive wartime substitute economy. Erbsensuppe, pea soup, was an indispensable pillar of German military logistics. Dried split peas were cheap, light, immune to spoilage, and easy to transport. A field kitchen could quickly boil them down into a thick, calorie-dense soup that kept soldiers warm in brutal winter conditions. This reliance on pea soup built upon a long military tradition centered around Erbswurst. Invented in the 1860s for the Prussian army, Erbswurst translates to pea sausage, but it contained no meat. It was a compressed roll of cooked pea meal, fat, salt, and spices, wrapped like a sausage. Soldiers on forced marches carried these portable rolls in their field kits. Instead of waiting hours for a hot kitchen, they simply sliced off a piece, crumbled it into a cup of boiling water, and had instant pea soup in 2 minutes. It proved that light, processed food could keep armies moving when supply lines collapsed.